Hey, Landon, wake up.
Barely.
You gotta buck up, motherfucker.
Let's go.
We gotta talk race cars. As he yawns, literally yawns. All right, we'll just do it. Welcome to the Money Lap.
I kind of look up mid taco bite.
You don't know disappointment. Talking all things motorsports by two real drivers.
I appreciate being called a gritty driver.
With many, many years of experience.
We've had to do that other people didn't want to do.
The most dedicated host in the motorsports podcast world.
Weren't we supposed to have somebody come on our show as a guest?
No, we did it.
Did we?
Yes.
Yes, for our 1 year anniversary.
And we definitely know what we're doing. Remember, talk through your mic.
I'm talking past it like this.
Well, if you just pointed it differently. Never mind. Never mind.
Oh.
Never mind.
Let's
the
talk about
stand-up
race
is
cars. God's
This
sakes.
is our worst show ever. It's a new Money Lap. I'm Parker Kligerman, joined as always by my good buddy, Landon Cassill. He's a little late and he's sleepy. Just about an hour and almost basically 2 hours, hour and a half later than our scheduled recording time, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
We had a scheduled recording time today?
It's basically a standing time. When we say afternoon, it's 3:30. Now I did pull a bit of a fast one. Yesterday I said, hey, can you record Tuesday? Monday might be tough for me. Then this morning I texted you and said, hey, actually, could you do today afternoon? You said yes. You showed up at 4:45 for 3:30. 4:50.
Well, I'm here.
That's the good part. How exciting. Wow. Thank you. You can tell people the enthusiasm he has at the moment for this show. It is it's not quite there. What are we going to talk about today? We are going to talk about the NASCAR Cup Series, which raced at Gateway this past weekend, the Xfinity Series. We had F1 at the center of speed for F1. That is Monza, and some things that came out of that we'll dive into. But yesterday was the first Sunday for football here in the United States, which would basically be a holiday at this point, I guess. My team, the Giants, well, it's going to be a long season again. Once again, I didn't even watch. I won't lie. I didn't even watch the end. So I turned it off. I was like, yep, we suck. Pretty normal. And they had, you know what they do such a good job of in like the pregame shows and everything for football is they do such great features. They did this one on Russell Wilson that got me so hyped. I was like, man, he's coming with vengeance. Like, this is our year. Let's go. And then proceeded to just flounder around. Couldn't even get in the end zone at, right there, and had to take a field goal and never even had another chance. Yeah.
Hey, did you watch any other games?
None. No, because I'm not. Josh was asking me this. I'm not really a football fan. I'm just a Giants fan. And I appreciate football. I've watched Hard Knocks for years. I find it fascinating and seeing all they do and just all that goes behind the scenes. But I don't find myself often just like, hey, I'm going to watch a football game for enjoyment. I don't. I do it occasionally, I would say. But I definitely am not like the, hey, this is going to be a good football game. I got to tune in. It just doesn't grab me.
We're kind of turning into a typical American football watching family in the Cassill
Really?
house. Yeah, I'm not a big fan. I'm not a fan of a team as much. We're Ohio State fans because my wife went to Ohio State. All my in-laws, her side of the family, they're all there. And I think I probably said this on the show. I didn't grow up in an Iowa fan family. Especially my dad used to say in the car business, when the Hawkeyes were playing well, people didn't come in on Saturdays to buy cars, which I can tell you with Iowa and Iowa State playing each other at noon on Saturday this weekend, that is an absolute fact. It was a ghost town around here on Saturday. Right. So, but my wife went to Ohio State. My in-laws all live in Columbus. So Ohio State is a fun team to root for when you have a whole family full of people that, have very close ties. So my kids and everything, they all enjoy it. Katie and Beckham went to the Texas game last week, which was cool. So we've kind of Saturdays are really fun. College football, since I haven't been racing, like the weekends are available. So Saturdays watching college football all day, and then Sundays have been like, I get it. I get the whole London morning game at 9 a.m., 8 a.m., like watching football with your coffee, and then by noon the noon games are rolling, and three, like I get it. I could totally be sucked into the all day football. I mean, we had our patio open this weekend, and it was 65 degrees all day on Sunday. It was just perfect, beautiful weather. Had the like our kitchen kind of opens up to the patio, so we had TVs and the sound was all synced up, so it sounded like you were in a Buffalo Wild Wings. You know what I
No
mean?
way.
Like just listening to football. So we're kind of getting sucked into it a little bit. So that was fun. Naturally, my in-laws are all Browns fans as well, so that was a tough game to watch.
Oof.
I
There's
feel
always
bad.
extra.
I feel bad for that kicker. I don't even know his name. He probably would appreciate it if I didn't even say it. Like, if it's not bad enough to lose the game because you missed the game-winning field goal, you also lost the game because you were in that position because you missed an extra point earlier in the game.
Oh,
Like,
Ooh,
I don't know if
that-
you're
worst
close,
nightmare. That's like
Parker, if you're close to any of that, but
no, I didn't see it, but I already can. I'm always worried for those guys.
like they
And
lost by 1
the
point, and the 1 point they lost by 1 point because he missed a game-winning field goal. But they were down by 1 point because earlier in the game he missed an extra point.
Oh,
Like
That's
just-
not dissimilar from the Baltimore game last night. We were talking about it, how good that game was. That last
Yeah,
field goal, or
I
the
mean-
last extra point, it would have been
True.
41-41 at the end of the game, and then we would have had overtime.
Yeah, well, that is very similar. The only difference for me in that Baltimore game, which by the way, I was saying before we started, that might have been one of the best football games I've ever seen.
100%.
But Buffalo, from my perspective, like even though Baltimore missed the extra point and that was the difference maker of a tie game or whatever, Buffalo won that game. Like they took
Oh, yeah.
control in the last 5 minutes of that game and won.
Wow.
So,
a
So-
couple
Baltimore
So
things I
amazing.
learned. By the way, is this where I tell you I'm a Michigan fan?
Are you actually a Michigan
No,
fan? Or
I'm not at all. But I actually have been to their facility many years ago. I got to go to their facility and like see how they practiced and all that stuff, which was fun.
That's great.
Very cool.
So-
And met the coach at the time, and I can't remember who the quarterback was. Got to hang out with him. It was awesome. But
it doesn't matter.
yeah, it doesn't matter. I would like to explain myself. You described the whole Sunday deal. If you think about it, even though I wasn't racing for the last few years, doing NBC was always this time period. And, for years I was doing 15 to 20 of those a year, which was all football time. And so I could never watch it. And now, like, if I'll do a handful of NBC pit reporting this year. I think it's going to be 5 in total that I'm end up doing. When I have a Sunday at home, it's like I watch a little bit, but it's also like, ooh, what else can I do? I'm at home. It's a Sunday. Like I can do anything. I do love the social aspect of Sunday football, though. Like that is going to bars with friends and football is playing all day, and you just know there'll be a bunch of people out, and that they do the sound for the games, and then they cut it off and it goes to music, and then back to the sound for the games. Like that's always a good time. I love that. A lot of fun. They got that.
We had a good time.
We
The
need to
NFL
talk
has that
about
down.
your fantasy football team, though, Parker.
Oh well, I should talk about that. That's right. I won.
Well,
I
that's
won
the
this
only thing
weekend.
about football is nobody wants to hear about your fantasy team.
No,
Everybody
hold
listen.
up.
No,
Hold
this
up.
is for everybody in everywhere. Don't
You let me talk about my team.
don't tell me about your fantasy
You
team.
shut
Don't
your mouth
care.
when you speak to
I
me
don't care.
about my fantasy team. P1 and number one most points scored in the league. Just putting it out there. Thank you again.
But yeah, well, you've like Jamar Chase and
He sucked. He was terrible.
but you got these amazing players all on the same team. I'm pretty sure you just paid all of your competitors to not draft.
Actually, I only drafted one person. I let AI do the rest.
Is that anybody does anymore? It just has ChatGPT set their fantasy lineup.
100%. Why else would you do it? Doesn't make any sense. There's no
Oh my
other
gosh.
reason. It's it knows way more than I'll ever know. Ever. I can't remember who's playing. So
Literally ridiculous.
we've learned all about our football habits.
Well,
Parker?
and that you are changing into a football fan.
Parker, thank you for Saquon Barkley, by the way.
Yeah.
As an Eagles fan, I really appreciate
welcome.
you. You
Yeah,
guys
but that
are
new guy we
amazing.
got looks pretty good. I can't remember his name. What's his name? Something Stodaback or gosh.
I have
can't
no
remember.
idea.
He was
fantasy
really good.
Football is like just, I don't know. When you can't do the real thing, you just get a make believe. It's kind of like if you can't drive a real race car, get a make believe one. Go to spoilerdiecast.com to buy a diecast make believe race car, not the real thing, but very close to it. How was that for a transition?
Hell of a transition.
If you're a racing
You
fan
gotta keep
like
going.
us, you got to check out spoilerdiecast.com. They are absolutely crushing it in the world of make-believe diecast toy race cars. Spoiler Diecast is one of the fastest growing diecast and racing merch companies out there, and for good reason. They ship same or next day. I can verify that personally out of the big order of Indy cars that we just made a few weeks ago. So if your order is not sitting in limbo forever, they have a massive selection, over 1,900 products, mostly NASCAR, kind of like us, but they do have dirt, sprint cars, IndyCar, F1. They got a little bit of everything. We got free shipping on orders over $100 and get a free NASCAR t-shirt of any random driver. Just kind of comment your preferred size in the notes. Whether you're hunting down a rare piece or you're looking to rep your favorite driver, like perhaps the 1 man, 2 shirts, 0 trophies shirt that is on their website right now. The record books don't show it, but some say that Parker Kligerman has 2 Daytona wins this year. You can get the official and the unofficial race win shirts of Parker's on spoilerdiecast.com. Make sure you use promo code MONEYLAP for that free shipping on orders over $100.
Love them. Go spoilerdiecast.com. Thanks for putting that shirt out there. It's super cool. I texted them a little bit ago trying to figure out what the numbers were, but I didn't get a response yet. So I'm just going to say they're selling out. So you got to go now. You got to go quickly. We're running out. But no, super cool. They made that shirt happen. They made the one after the first Daytona happen. So they're awesome. Love spoilerdiecast.com. And they make this show happen. So if you like this show, go to spoilerdiecast.com. Use code MONEYLAP. Buy yourself some cool stuff. I did see a YouTube comment last week that basically said they switched from another diecast company and provider to Spoiler Diecast, and it was a great transition, and it's the only place they buy their racing merch and diecast now. So we're making waves in the industry. They're up this year, by the way. They're up big time. It's been working, and we are up. We did some numbers last week, and Money Lap is growing, even against our best efforts not to. We have grown. Yeah, we have verifiable proof of that. We know Denny Hamlin's, shout out to our one listener, Denny Hamlin. We know Dale Jr. occasionally tunes in. So that's 2. And apparently the numbers say we have more. So pretty sweet.
Numbers are big. They're coming in.
They're huge. They're huge.
One last thing from the weekend for me. I texted you guys this. We cleaned out our basement, and I found a stack of fan mail.
Oh, this is your chance for a public apology.
I found a stack of fan mail, which I hate that I'm talking about this right now because I feel like we went through this a few months ago. Didn't I tweet about it and all this stuff? And we talked about it. Well, it happened again.
Oh no.
There's more fan mail. I found a stack of fan mail dating back to 2020 in my basement. So got through all that stuff last night, which was nice.
Wait, keep telling this story. Keep telling the story.
One of the highlights of it.
Just keep telling. I'm gonna grab something real quick.
That's right. The highlight of this was there was a letter from a gal who wanted me to sign a couple of photos and a trading card for her boyfriend for his birthday in October. And I think the letter was dated August of 2020.
Jesus.
So
she didn't specify which birthday though.
She didn't say which October. She just said October. So 5 years later, she will be getting the signed card. I wrote her a note back, and I couldn't think of the right way to word it other than I hope if your boyfriend's still around, happy birthday. If he's not, that's his loss. So I
I
wrote
love that.
something along the lines of that. I don't know how's that sound?
It's good. It was very nice of you. I think a response in general is great. And you did make me look, by the way, when I saw your text. And I was like, I feel like I have a stack of fan mail somewhere. When usually Shannon was good about like making me do these and get them out. And I found a stack that I think came from some team I'd driven for or something.
They
And I got
forwarded it to you.
it to me. And I think it dates back to 2019 or 18. So
if you're a fan that sends in fan mail,
yep.
This is your message to never give up.
Never
give up hope.
Do you know what I remember though? Remember the NASCAR Driver 360 show and everything? There was those like original reality shows.
Mm-hmm.
There was a moment I'll never forget. They were following Rusty Wallace. I want to say it was like the MBS 24/7 deal where he had an Xfinity team that his son was driving at, and some cup, maybe even before Steven was driving there, it was like the cup drivers would drive it.
Yeah.
And they went in this one room and they're like, oh, this is Rusty's autograph room. And they picked one thing up and it was like 8 or 10 years old that he hadn't done
I have
yet.
I have an idea. Maybe we need to come up, but we'll do like the dealership address or something. If you're a fan that wants to send fan mail and wants me to time capsule it and not open it for 5 years and then send it back to you, I will do that. I'll just create a little filing system in my office. And I'll just file these things away and then I won't look at them for 5 years.
The best part is if you say 5, it's going to be 10.
Yeah. A minimum, guaranteed minimum of 5 years.
Landon, I want to loop back to when you talked about signing autographs. You said you only sign with the number you're currently driving.
Yeah.
Are you going to backdate that?
No, I don't backdate them. So if I'm driving, so I don't, like right now I'm not driving anything, so I don't sign a number. I just sign my name.
But when they sent it in 2020, you were.
Yeah, but I don't.
I do the same thing.
That's at least, that's like it's not, doesn't give you all the answers, but like it is that's a sign of potentially, gives you some insight as to what I was doing or not doing when I signed that.
Nice.
So
okay.
If it's a picture of the number 4 car and I sign it and there's no number 4, then you know that I signed that after I drove the 4 car.
Oh, that's pretty innovative. I've kind of, I guess, naturally done the same thing where I don't put a number. And maybe it's because you told me, but I don't. Yeah, like when I get old hero cards, I don't put a number.
Even if it's a hero card of a race car. Like,
yeah.
It's understandable if you're like signing a hat, right? And it's like, oh, put your number on the hat. Well, I don't have a number. I'm not driving that car. I'm not driving a car or whatever. But it's like sometimes people, they would get the car, they would have a card of the 4 car and they'd be like, oh, can you put the number on it? It's like, no, I'm not driving that car right anymore. Even though it's a picture of me driving that car, I don't know. It's just my own internal way. Not that I don't even know there's like nothing would ever come of that really. Yeah. I guess unless if you found an autographed picture of me, and I don't know if that makes it more interesting or less interesting. It's just a fact. It's just a thing to know. If you see an autographed picture of me, then if there's a number on that photo, then oh dang, he signed this while he was driving that car.
That's awesome. Did you do that from the start, basically?
I don't know when I like adapted to doing that. So maybe I should actually think about it. I feel like it was pretty early on in my career when I started driving multiple cars. So I know it had to have been around 2013 when I started doing that. Because I was driving the Xfinity cars and the Cup cars at the same time. And then I'd go through number changes, or I was driving, it might have been earlier than that because I was starting and parking Cup cars and I was driving for more than one Cup team at the same time. So I have to think about if that was when I started doing it, because that would have been around 2010 and 11. I just know that there was a moment in time where I was like, this is awkward. I'm signing a photo of a car that I drove last year, and the fan is asking me to put the number on it, but I'm like, that's not my number anymore. Even though that car is the car I'm driving, and it's a number I drove. Like, it feels weird to put in today's date to put my number on, to put that number on it. So I was like, well, I'm just gonna sign my name.
That's why I
And
think
then-
it's the smartest thing that F1 has done for the racing world, where now the number goes to the driver.
Yeah, it's
basically-
interesting.
As long as you have a super license, you have that number. And
That's
it's
really
like
interesting.
super smart. Super smart.
What number would you be, Parker?
33,
Oh, that's
7 or
Max.
77.
Ah,
Yeah, Matt, that was my go-kart number, 33. So, and I wanted it because everyone had 3 because they loved, obviously, Dale Earnhardt. And I thought, well, 3 was my lucky number when I was a kid. And so I did 33 because I thought double the luck. I don't know. Don't know if it worked.
Big Andy Petrie fan.
Andy Petrie fan. Actually, funny about that, I think the 33 car is where my crew chief in trucks, Chris Carrier, who was my crew chief in ARCA and we've had a long time together. He was the crew chief on the 33 when it won Rockingham.
oh,
Yeah.
Landon, what would your Formula One number be?
7 was kind of my childhood number racing growing up.
Oh, we both like 7s.
Yeah. My
Wow.
first ever racing number was 6 because I was a big Mark Martin fan. But my number, and then my second number that I kind of had some ownership of or felt some ownership of was 9. So I was first 6, then 9.
Yeah.
And I should have just
Nice.
paired the two together, and but I was number 9 because I was sponsored by the Channel 9 news station when I was racing at Hawkeye Downs as a kid. And then but then when I started late model racing, my real racing ultimate like racing hero in life was always Gary Saint Amant.
Wow.
I don't know if
That's a
anybody knows who
throwback.
that is. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know
Hooters
if
Pro
you guys
Cup.
know. Yep. Well, that's how you know Gary Saint Amant. Most of the OGs of racing that know Gary Saint Amant know him from the ASA National Tour.
Ah.
Yeah, so he was like an absolute OG legend of the ASA National Tour for all the 90s pretty much. And so he was my hero growing up, and I took on his number 7 with the same style and everything, pretty much similar style to how he ran his number 7 when he ran late models. And I kept that all the way up until I drove but we really got into NASCAR, and then at that point the race teams determine what your number is.
Then you never choose again.
Yeah.
I got to choose one time in NASCAR, which is
Really?
when I went to Kyle Busch Motorsports. They obviously with a 54, but he was taking that to Gibbs. So they're like, what number do you want? And so we all talked about it. And I was like, well, I won a lot of races in the 77. I like that number because obviously the 7 was taken and I think 33 was taken. And so obviously 3 was taken. And I was racing against the 3, Austin Dillon. And they were like, sounds good to us. 77 it is. So it was kind of funny.
Interesting.
Yeah. The one time I got to choose. And I always wanted to drive the 77 in Cup. But then people got the 77, and obviously I didn't go to Cup, really. So I would like that to have been my number. I like that number. I like the 7. My mom always liked the 7, and her family loved the 7. I drove that 7 truck. They thought that was cool. So
7s are good.
7s are wild. I can assure you that one day, when we own a Cup team, it will be 69.
Absolutely.
There's not a doubt in my mind. The day you see a Buddy Lap Cup team, just know there's only 2 numbers we want: 69, 42.
That's right. Those are the eraser.
The meme team. 100%.
meme team.
Everyone takes it too seriously. Hey, we're just gonna have a lot of fun. There's gonna be steak and lobster at every race.
I told you boys about the triple digit scandal, right? They let a triple digit number in on the Coke series, and I sent a strongly worded email about why can't we be 420, and they're like, well, we're making an exclusion for this one. Well, we're not giving you 420. And I'm like, unbelievable.
That's it. We appeal. Straight to the courts. Straight to the courts. All right. Well, we should talk some racing. Speaking of the courts, the guy who won this past weekend once again excels in chaos. That is Denny Hamlin, who's currently in a lawsuit with NASCAR through his 2311 race team.
Do you think JGR is thinking of ways to, like, the Tuesday before Phoenix, like, stage a kidnapping or something of his wife and children?
What? What?
Or like stage like some break in at his home, or steal all of his cars, or
yeah. Make sure like
sink his boat. Like, I don't, you know what I mean?
Well,
like,
I was thinking, like his bus, the air
Yeah,
conditioning doesn't work. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anything you can come up with. Create the most.
I mean,
chaos
how
in his
dramatic
life.
is how dramatic do things have to be to get inside of Denny's head inside of a race car?
I don't know. That's a great question.
Well,
we
actually,
know he's a
it
listener.
works the opposite way. When things are cool and smooth, it's
Doesn't work.
man. When there's drama going on, Denny is locked in. It's his escape. It's his safe place. I love it for him.
It's awesome. That's why I we'll dive into it, but there's some indications. Obviously, he's in his last few years, and with this latest contract, and I wanted to text him back, dude, don't stop. Like, what are you doing? You can't. You literally can't stop. You're not gonna want. How are you gonna get away from everything? Who knows how that will impact everything he's doing. So he did win the pole, won the race. He was just fast. It was a pretty good race, though, in terms of, strategy and different, cars that could drive through the field. Tires obviously mattered a bit. Landon literally just texted Denny while we're on the show. That exact thing. The car is your safe space. Well, you know what?
It's a
There's
driving
a
a race
total-
car really is your safe space, isn't it? Like, you
But
just
there is, but I think that's for everyone. Like for me, I can have so much going on, but when you put that helmet on and can just drive and race, it's so releasing. And I always talk about like this. Oh God, this is gonna come across the wrong way. I just realized because there is a thing. I'm gonna describe it, and you guys can connect it with the thing I'm probably thinking that this is gonna relate to. But like I always talk about when you race, and then afterwards, there's like once you've expelled that much focus and energy and adrenaline, there's like an incredible clarity afterwards of a race. And now you know what I was going towards. This show sucks.
Oh,
Cancel it. Cancel it. No, I couldn't
man,
I think
couldn't
this
do
might
the
be
straight face.
the first. This might be the first episode I might mark as explicit. Oh my goodness.
Oh my God.
Anyway, my point being, you do have a great escape from the real world.
Is there any other kind of experiences in life that provide that kind of clarity for you?
No,
Parker?
not really. Can't think of it. No, nothing comes to
No?
mind.
Okay. Okay. Just racing. That's the only one.
Just racing. Yep. Just racing. Yeah. Never experienced anything else like it.
All right, let's move on.
We got to move on.
This is a
Anyway,
family show.
this is for somebody. So the I do agree with them in that respect. Just it's like you escape, which is great. So he won the race. It was sort of an up and down race for many drivers in the field. We're not going to dive into every single one. I think the fastest car on the day was Christopher Bell, but continually found himself having to drive through the field, which he did multiple times. He was pretty upset after the race, saying we're always first to pit or last to pit, meaning they're not being aggressive after he finished 7th. And felt like they gave another one away with the fastest car. He was also my pick to win from last week, so I was right there with him, upset. But what else? Anything else stick out to you? I'm trying to think. We did a terrible job to prepare for this. I've been totally knocked off my game.
This right here.
Well,
AJ and SVG.
No.
Oh, this.
Kyle Larson.
Oh, okay, yeah.
yeah,
Larson
we can
and
get into
Landon.
that.
Well, yeah.
But
I mean, Larson just drove into him, and he admitted it afterwards.
Yeah, I don't know what he was doing there.
Like, what?
The racetrack, I just love that racetrack.
You do?
And I do.
God,
And
I hate it.
I loved how it widened out for those cars and everything. Like everybody was so nervous about it going into the race of track position and it almost being I don't want to say boring race or what, but I don't know. When you see the track widen out on a flat racetrack like that and them not be able to hold the bottom, and even that move that Kyle made on the 12, like it was a totally botched move, but he I'm not like coming to the defense of that move, other than he had, he was reshaping the corner. Like there's room to reshape the corner and stuff like that. Am I weird for saying that I kind of like what I saw there? And then the fuel strategies going to the end, everything. I don't know. I thought it was kind of cool.
So you are right. I was surprised. I probably was one of the haters going in because I'm like, God, this plays flat, like single groove, whatever. It did widen out way better than I even expected. I knew you could down in 3 and 4, and I had, my last cup race I ran there, and there was multiple grooves and it was fun. It just, I don't know. I always felt like some of those flatter tracks like that can get very single grooved in years past, and it is a little like tire and temperature dependent. I guess I just didn't have faith, but this was a really good race. I felt like for being a track that I didn't have a ton of faith in that happening. Breaking down the thing with Kyle, I mean, he admitted that he basically thought he had done something similar earlier and just overcooked it. But from the outside, it's just like, oh, you just drove into him. Like,
yeah, I mean, he
overcooked
missed
it and
his
got
mark
into
by 30 feet. I mean, if you think about it, like if his plan was to clear the 20, he was 30 feet away from doing that. Or the 12, he was 30 feet away from doing that.
Yeah.
So I don't
and
know
if his
what.
plan was to get up beside him and then turn back down, he was about 5 feet from that.
Yeah, that's probably a more realistic plan.
Yeah, that didn't work for him. But it was good to see the outside working. I thought some of the restarts were cool. It was cool to see, like, we saw this in the Xfinity race as well. You could like pop the third groove and try to make that work and put someone in the middle, and they were sort of sunk if they got put in the middle. Basically, guys in the bottom could move guys off the bottom and shove them to the middle, and then it could get the run down the back into 3, which was great. So I thought all those factors definitely played a big role in creating just a better race overall. It did look like fuel was going to be a big deal until that caution pop came up, and it sort of became a straight up fight to the end, I guess.
It did.
Wow. That was you so into it.
I'm
My
listening.
goodness. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's talk about this comment from Denny Hamlin in his post-race press conference. He basically talked about how he came to that number of wanting to get to 60 wins and just sort of looked at it and how hard he works to get to those wins. He didn't want to look back in his career and feel like he didn't try hard enough or, work hard enough to get enough wins. And through that, they were like, so when you're talking about having a countdown to 70 to go in terms of races, that's kind of assuming the next Cheerio deal will be your last, right? And he says, yes, that's correct. So without having a retirement announcement, we kind of have an insight into this is the end. This is the last 2 years. And he mentioned he felt like at Daytona 500, he'd only have 2 more chances at that. He only has 2 more chances at getting a Brickyard 400. He did make the comment that, yes, there's drivers with more championships, even calling out one that has 3 but less wins than him, and he feels like he's better than them.
Who exactly is he talking about?
I think Joey Logano.
Joey has 3 championships.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
And half as many wins.
Yeah. Do you not? You don't remember the uproar?
Well, I remember the uproars. It's hard to keep track of that.
Is that an idea that the championship is not as big a deal because you can't even remember?
Potentially. Mickey Mouse Championship.
Who won the championship last year?
Joey Logano.
He did.
Are you serious? I will. I will say. I mean, I didn't know if we were on that topic, but on that topic,
I didn't mean to go down this route, but it just sort
I-
of naturally happened.
seeing Connor Zilisch win his 15th race of the season, and I know that there's 8 races left or whatever. It definitely has made me be like, just crown him champion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
just crown him the champion. He's
Well,
the
him,
champion.
he
But
and
he's not
Corey
because
Heim.
there's a playoff, and they
So-
hadn't even started their playoff. He could
No,
literally
they
be
just-
out.
What's that?
It might be mathematically impossible for him to not advance after the first round, but like he could DNF the
Really
next.
good.
He could DNF the next 2 races, and then somebody from the outside win round 1. Like it could be all over just like that in a matter of 2 weeks.
It does drive home a little bit of the randomness of it, and the fact is,
Is that
him and
good
Corey
thing? Is it
Heim,
not?
right?
Oh,
With
don't
you know,
know.
you about think they're going to make it all the way through, but if they go to Phoenix and just if they lead every lap but the last one and they have a right front tire go down, not a champion. In that scenario, it does degrade the validity of it. It degrades the importance of it, I feel like, in some respects, because it's just like, well, it's one race. And somehow it's all worked out in years past, but it feels like there's so many openings, especially that these two could expose in how it could look really bad if they're not the champions at the end of the year.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, and it would be a pretty close fight between Allgaier, him, and Sam Mayer right now. At least,
Yeah.
With only 7 races to go. So,
Well, how he ran at Gateway is an insight into how that Phoenix car will look.
oh yeah, I made that pretty clear on the broadcast. I felt like in terms of relating it to a track, and I was just like, this is the closest to Phoenix. And then he goes, hey, we're gonna push, and I feel like this is the closest thing to Phoenix. So I need laps and experience with that. And I was like, notice the field. He was also really, really fast this weekend.
Yeah.
Back to the Cup
Yep.
Series. After the race, the Trackhouse cars were caught driving through the grass coming to pit road.
Mm.
Yeah,
What do you think
Yeah.
that was all about?
I would say it's weight. They want more weight on those cars.
You think it's weight?
I would think it's weight. Yeah.
Because
You
we've
hear
seen him
this
try to
often.
pick up. You've seen him try to pick up rubber.
Right. Which there's not always a lot of.
So
Just the weight.
do you think they're trying to get weight on the cars by driving through the grass and what?
Picking up rocks and sand and dirt onto the hot tires and throwing it on all the rubber that's in the wheel wells.
Okay.
This is also a unique track where you have to take the access road. Going to
What
pit
did you
road.
think? What do you think it is?
I think the weight thing is probably makes the most sense. My only idea didn't entirely make sense. So my idea was that they were just trying to maybe damage the diffuser or something.
Could be.
Just not. But I don't know. I guess I can't think off the top of my head what you want the diffuser, because you actually want the diffuser to be low, right?
Yep, as low as you can.
You want the diffuser to be as low as you can. So if they drive into the grass and there's bumps and they drove off road and it hits the diffuser and knocks it up, then damages the diffuser, then maybe there's a potential for, maybe that's the equivalent to, having fender damage and then not having to go through inspection heights or something like that. If the diffuser's got all kinds of damage to it, then when they go to, when it goes over the Hawkeye system,
Yep.
I mean, that's like we're watching a video right now for those of you on audio.
Yeah.
Just kind of, I don't know. That's tires only. He's kind of like right side tires, then left side tires.
Mhm.
Probably is to try to pick up some rubber or something like that.
I think everyone's so close on the tolerances and the weight that, between even with when you're talking fluids and everything, right? That it's the F1 theory, which is what they've done for years. Pick up all the rubber after the races, drive offline, get them as heavy as possible, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every little bit helps, especially when you're dealing with the smallest incremental gains that you can possibly get.
Yeah, 2-3 pounds at a time. 1 pound,
And that's a
half
massive
pound.
difference. It's a massive, it can be a massive difference. So it's just funny that every car is
We
an
can have-
onboard camera now.
We're gonna have drivers that make the final round and after Martinsville, and then take Ozempic for 5 days, try to lose as much weight as they can. Jimmy Johnson told me one time that he lost he was down 5 pounds or something between. I think he locked himself in at Texas
Mm-hmm.
before Martinsville once, and he was basically didn't eat for 4 days.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
No way.
yeah. He lost,
So I've done that on a longer
so-
scale where you weigh in at the beginning of the year and I'll be as fat as I possibly can. And then I try
Yeah.
and shed it as fast, over the next month, lose, 6 pounds, 7 pounds.
I think that was before he won his 7th championship. He told me that he was down several pounds going into Homestead.
Because, they don't reweigh you. Now, in
Well, they did
Xfinity,
They weren't
did
nearly on top of it at the time. I don't know what.
Yeah, well, they do it more now, but they did. I told you guys the story of the first year was in the Xfinity playoffs, and we get to Bristol, and they do a meeting, and then they're like, "All right, and now you're all going to go up in that room and weigh in." They're like, "No playing around." And I was like, "Damn it! I've been a fat person all week, eating too much." So usually get the time to prepare, but actually no, I was not. It was the opposite. I was too skinny when I weighed in, and that was annoying. I think it moved us up a weight class, so really frustrating.
Brutal.
Haas factory team announced what was it, just before the weekend, I guess, as we went into the weekend. I think this was after we recorded that they're moving forward to Chevrolet with Hendrick in both Cup and Xfinity. I presume, just from some inside conversation I've had, they were just so low on the totem pole at Ford. Plus the RFK relationship, I don't think was working for them on the Cup side. And so it was in hopes of finding better path forward. Plus, you think back to Haas having that relationship with Hendrick, and initially when they became Stewart-Haas, Hendrick got really involved, and that's when Tony Stewart went and won a championship, basically, or did. And, must have been a hard call for Gene to make to Rick to be like, "Hey, I need to go faster. Can we come over?"
I think that was probably a hard call.
Yeah.
Did Harvick win as a Chevy?
Yeah. Yep.
Did he win a championship as a Ford?
No.
So they didn't win any championships as Ford.
No, he just won.
They had a ton of success.
Ton of success.
They just never.
Didn't get the big prize. No.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's kind of, that was big news, but in a weird way, not surprising to see. I think, Haas kind of knew that was probably happening when they cut their program back. Seems like Ford is, obviously pretty committed to helping Sam win a championship, or Cole and that whole team win a championship this year. So,
well, we'll see what it does for them. Uptakes in performance.
Sheldon and Sam.
On the Xfinity side, I think it is a big change because, it's not as simple in those cars to convert. And it's, definitely.
It's probably probably not chassis, because they probably do their own Xfinity cars anyways, and they'll keep doing that. So it's going to be bodies and engines. I mean, it's going to be a lot.
Yeah, I think it'll be a lot.
Because on both sides, it's simulation too. Learning new systems. So there's a lot there.
We'll get into that in a minute. We have some more news out there.
The one thing I wanted to note on with that is it will be interesting to see how their Xfinity program, which is already strong and runs well, how it does with Hendrick support and Hendrick engines, because it sure seems like the Hendrick stuff in Xfinity is the strongest stuff right now. And they will be kind of the only true A caliber Hendrick Technical Alliance car aside from JRM in Xfinity.
Yeah, Hendrick engines for sure. So we'll see what it does for them. your buddy there, you mentioned earlier, Jimmie Johnson, 7-time Cup Series champion, says he or hinted at a return in 2026, saying he's almost certain he'll be on the grid when NASCAR debuts in San Diego. So, home race for him. He wants to be in it. I don't see why he shouldn't. NASCAR driver Austin Cindric announced he's going to be racing at Adelaide in the Supercars series down in Australia, doing like a wild card entry, which is super
That's
cool.
kind of cool. How do you think that's gonna go?
Considering his background in doing a lot of sports car stuff, I think he will, transfer pretty well. I think the cars are very different, and obviously, it's like hopping into Cup Series, but on the opposite side, and so on and so forth. Is he going to do what Shane Van Gisbergen did at Chicago? No, because they've been going to Adelaide for about 25 years.
And he's gonna be
Longer.
learning it in a weekend.
Yeah, and he's trying to learn.
Is it on
iRacing?
iRacing?
Is Adelaide? I don't think so. No. I drove it a lot in R Factor back in the day. It's a really cool street course. Really cool street course.
This isn't the first time Cindric's been in a V8 supercar.
I think it's the first time he drove those, but he did do the Bathurst 12-hour. I'm pretty sure in sports cars. That's sports cars. Bathurst 12 hours.
No, I think he did a demo lap like 2 years ago, or a year ago around one of the street courses. I could have sworn. I'll double check on this and I'll
look it
look
up.
back on that.
I know he's wanted to do this forever. He talked about possibly wanting when he was younger just to go over there and race. And it's so funny because I had the same thought when I was in my late teens, right before the NASCAR stuff started to work out, where I was like, I think I just want to go to Australia and race V8 supercars and just like try and make it over there. I don't know why. Would have been a random, completely different life path. But at one point I was like, I think I just want to go do that. So he talked about that. And so it's a super cool opportunity. We've heard of, there's been a couple drivers who have been rumored to go do this and ended up canceling it. I know Kyle Busch was one, Kyle Larson, obviously. There's been a few that wanted to go over there and do this sort of thing. And it just forever, for multiple reasons, they all fell through. But this one's actually happening. So
he drove in 2014 a Ford Falcon FG supercar. I don't know where, but he did at one point or another.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, they're way different now.
Yeah.
They're now a lot more like the Cup car.
He's done a supercar in the past.
Okay.
So I was like, I could have sworn he did something.
He's been on the right side of the car. Yep. I've driven a right-hand race car before, a rally car. Quite an experience. Not as different as you think, but it was definitely
like shifting sequential with your left hand, or
no, it was H pattern.
Oh,
good. Yeah, that was difficult, but got the speed way quicker than I thought. But I was doing like a little course, like a rally cross course they had set up. This is when I went over the Isle of Man TT, and Subaru had set this up where we got to drive some rally cars. And I was supposed to drive the left-hand drive one, but I think it broke or something. So they had a right-hand drive one, and I had Mark Higgins, who was like a British rally champion, in the car with me. And there was a tight hairpin where you had to e-brake turn. And I just couldn't get into first gear the way like it was all shaped. And I got 20 minutes in the car, 10 minutes. And so we came up with a system where I would just yell clutch, and then he would slam it into first gear for me. Drop the clutch and rip out the hairpin, because I'd clutch it, nail the e-brake, and then he would shove it into first gear. And we got down to like being pretty fast, which was funny. It's really awesome. It's a good time.
That's great.
So there is this rumor because of them going to the Truck Series, and everyone wants to talk about where is Dodge going to go and what team if they do end up making it to the Cup Series again. Obviously, your number one thought would be Colleague, because they are running the truck program for Ram and Dodge starting next year. But it does, and we've heard Dodge say this and the CEO that, the path is to Cup. So who would it be? Of course, the rumors continue that it's circling around RCR because they have an engine program already. Yet they have been a long-tenured Chevy team. They are a key partner. They will never be the number one key partner over Hendrick, but they are one of the three key partners, including Trackhouse at Chevy. The reason people say that they would be, one that would get that Dodge deal is that obviously they have the engine program, but what people forget is it's kind of now, I would think in some respects, a smaller part of the equation than you realize compared to, and we've talked about this with the truck side, simulation, technical center, engineering, all the things that the manufacturer now does that Dodge doesn't really have set up in any respect, right? And there are teams in the Cup Series, like I believe RFK, which does their own internal simulation program because they didn't want to be beholden just to having Fords, right? In the event that a new manufacturer came in, which was a smart thing by Brad Keselowski and that group to do that and invest in it and still be successful, but also have that ability to have their own IP and ability to switch manufacturers if that came along. For RCR, they're just not in that position. They use mostly the GM tools and all the GM stuff, as most of the key partner teams do. And that build out infrastructure is incredibly expensive and is a massive undertaking. So I think these rumors are fun and such. And the last thing else on that is that I'm of the belief that come 4 years from now, you won't just have to run a V8 engine. There will be multiple engines available.
I hope.
Yeah, that's what's happening.
Hope that's
it's
the
going to
case.
happen. You're going to be able to run basically anything. So
that has to be. I don't.
It's what's going to happen.
I don't want to hijack the conversation, but I just want to get it out there in the world that is, in my opinion, the future of NASCAR needs to be that these manufacturers can run whatever power plant they want.
And it's going to happen. It is happening.
And it has to be some version of like, and I'm skipping too far ahead and pretending like I know everything, which I don't. But if I was in charge right now and could snap my fingers, it's some version of, okay, welcome to NASCAR. You're an OEM. You can bring any power plant that you want. It just has to fit inside of this little engine compartment, right? And you also have to sell it to the teams for the same for $4 million a year. And that's it, right?
Yep.
And certain teams can't get better power plants than others. So we can have the ability to audit you from Hendrick Motorsports all the way down to whoever, right? You have to have some level of consistency because you can't just take the $4 million from Rick Ware Racing and dump it into, the teams that you want to spend the money on and give Rick Ware bad equipment, right?
Yep.
So, but you can run whatever kind of engine you want. 4-cylinder, 6-cylinder, 8-cylinder, 12-cylinder, electric motor. I don't know.
Well, so this is what's happening. So yeah, and no,
that's my dream for NASCAR.
Because
now I do want to control that conversation back to the Dodge thing. So
and I'll put a cap on that one. Just go look at IMSA. It's exactly what's about to happen. Torque sensors have been brought into IMSA. The torque sensors basically allow them to evaluate those engines in real time. You basically create a curve. The manufacturer submits their curve to the sanctioning body, and there's software that evaluates as that car goes around the track compared to that engine curve between torque and power. And if it sees some anomalies, you get flagged and you can be penalized. Simple as that. Well, it's going to be the same system. You can run a V6 twin turbo, a V8 naturally aspirated, you name it. It can be run, and that's what's going to happen. It's the only way you're going to get more manufacturers. So that's why I say the engine equation is not really as big an equation as people think anymore.
So. Well, interesting. Okay, so that's an interesting perspective because the question I was going to ask is, first of all, are you kind of the way you talked about RFK? Are you suggesting that the Dodge Cup, debut, what am I saying? Premier team, key partner.
Yep.
Could be a race between RCR and RFK, right? Or both, maybe. Who knows?
Or both. Or I don't even think RFK is not even really in the discussion because they're not. They would be interested in a different manufacturer.
Right now, RCR is in the discussion or the rumors.
Apparently, rumor.
I think that the engine shop is the number one thing to determine that. And what you're saying with simulation is huge too, right? Potentially tied for first, most important thing. Who knows? I think an engine shop is maybe one of the biggest things to overcome for a new manufacturer. I think
Yeah.
they probably need to lock that down before. It doesn't matter if the engine shop is building 6 cylinders or 8 cylinders,
Mm-hmm.
right? Just an engine operation in general is a manufacturing that's few and far between in
Right.
in NASCAR. It's been monopolized by literally 3 organizations for the last 40 years.
But
Right,
if you
so-
look at other forms of motorsports, they don't even always own the engine builder. You know, you look at for years in IndyCar and actually still involved, but like you look at F1 and sports cars, it would be an Ilmore or a Cosworth that built the motor for Ford or for Dodge or whatever, right? Like when I ran ARCA in 2008 and 2009, there was Ilmore Dodge Motors and there was Penske Dodge Motors, right? Like Ilmore still is the company that actually services and builds all the motors for the truck series and the ARCA series, the spec motors.
Yeah, but they don't have anybody to compete against.
No, they don't.
Right?
But I'm
Like,
saying
they're
they have
not
the ability
competing
to build
against-
motors.
They're not competing against Hendrick Motorsports. They're not competing against Toyota Gazoo with an infinity money.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and that's
Yeah,
the
but
thing
if
is,
you have an OEM who just tabs them for their knowledge and just says, "Here's the budget, just go build it."
maybe
That's what those guys
guess.
look for. That's why those companies existed for so long. Cosworth,
I guess,
mean,
but if you want to compete, especially if you're Dodge, right? If you
Yeah.
want to compete at a high level as quickly as possible, your best chance is going to somewhere like RCR. Or your best chance is NASCAR changing the rules, but that's not going to happen by the time they go cup racing. That's going to be like a 2035 thing or something stupid. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe not. But
I think
if-
it's
if you're Dodge and you're going cup racing, when? 2027, 28?
yeah, probably 28.
And you
I
want to
would
be
think.
competitive as you can be in 2028. I can't imagine that it's going to be by asking Ilmore to build a cup engine that can compete with TRD, Hendrick, Doug Yates, and Richard Childress.
Mm.
Right?
You know who builds the Chevy IndyCar engine?
Who?
Ilmore.
Maybe. I guess. I mean, not saying they're not good engine builders, but I'm just saying if they're building that engine, the
Yep.
engine that we race today, how many years and how many
No, but they're not going to build that.
gazillions of dollars? Well, if they're not going to build that,
I'm
then-
going to put this out here. What is saying Chevrolet even wants to run the current type of motor they run?
well, they probably don't. None of them probably do.
Nope.
Well, here's hang on a second. Politically, in NASCAR, I would be willing to bet that behind closed doors, Toyota, Ford, and Chevy want to keep running the same engine.
I'm actually going to disagree with you.
Why?
And I
They
may
haven't
or may not have information to say that that is wrong.
Okay. Well, I hope you're wrong then. Or I hope you're right. I'm sorry. I hope I'm wrong.
I think you're going to, when that opens up and those rules come out, you will see a flurry of different ways to tackle that engine.
Well, that would be great.
And most of them trying to look at, just all you have to do for everyone listening. Sorry, we've just gone to the craziest.
Well, that's what I'm
tangent.
saying. Could we get everybody caught up here? Because the
Yeah, so
theory,
basically-
what we're saying is that not only we're talking about two different things, right? What engine provider does Dodge go with, but then also what engine does NASCAR even run? Two totally separate conversations, but yet they're a little bit interconnected.
Right.
The theory that you're saying is that it's possible that by the time Dodge has an engine in NASCAR, that they're not bound to the requirements of building the engine that they would have to build today if they were in NASCAR.
Exactly.
That's what you're suggesting. Okay.
Yes, 100%.
With that said, if that's true, I agree with you completely that the floodgates are open. Engine builders like Ilmore or whoever are way more likely to build a competitive, successful engine if they don't have to build today's NASCAR engine.
Now you're on.
And if that is the case, furthermore, that is a better future case for NASCAR anyways, which I think would be better for the sport anyways if you have a V6 and a V8 and a whatever.
Yep.
Right? And that the manufacturers are building whatever they want, as long as there is some accountability that I can't go without saying, that there's some accountability that the OEMs cannot just build their 2 favorite engines for their 2 favorite teams and then they block out everybody else. Right?
I get that. And that's a cool
Okay.
idea in a system. And I will just say, for people wondering kind of where my mind is going, all you have to do is go look at the engines that manufacturer runs in different race series. And then just sit there and think, which of those is probably most relevant to their cars, road cars? Which of those, most likely in this open engine format, could be
So
applicable
what's that answer
to
for Dodge?
Dodge? I don't really have an answer right now. But I think if you look at Ford...
What are they running in NHRA?
Yeah. There you go. Hey guys, we're submitting this. We're
So
running on Nitro.
I wanted to ask you guys.
It's called motorsports, ain't it?
Yeah, not chassis or driver sports.
I wanted to ask you guys because I'm hearing you explain all of this, and there's always the part of me is like, is there a world in which they could take an engine that they have for a road car and upspec it for a NASCAR? Could I see an inline straight 6 2JZ Toyota?
I don't
Go
know.
out
I'm not an engineer, but I hope so. I hope that is the outcome of this, because that would just marry these OEMs with the sport even more. If the OEMs can literally say that the foundation of the engine that's in that car on Sunday is in the car that's sitting on a lot, even if it's a car that's in the showroom and it's some special order car, but it's a car that is mass produced, and it at least starts with the same block or starts with the same whatever, I don't know, infrastructure of some kind. I would love for that. That would be a dream.
All right, let me ask you the next question.
Sounds so cool.
Let me ask you the next question. That definitely can happen. I mean, Josh, all you got to do is look in the IMSA series and even the prototype cars, where some of those prototypes are using blocks that are off of basically road cars, right?
Go to any IMSA race and you can tell which car just drove by. That's my favorite part.
Oh, no, and I
IMSA
think that's
racing.
what is going to happen for sure. Now, let me ask you this, Landon. If you are Ford or Chevy that is designing and spending hundreds of millions of dollars to build an F1 engine program, what if that block could be used across most of your stuff? And therefore
cool.
you've just amortized, basically spread the costs across multiple racing series.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. I think that's where the racing world is headed. So that'd be my thought.
Well, you know what? That is probably so first of all, that's great news for motorsports, because that is an even closer marrying of motorsports to their manufacturers, which is who funds the majority of the entire industry. Doesn't matter if you're an F1, doesn't matter if you're in NASCAR, anywhere else, anywhere in the world, a high level professional racing team that operates at a high level, right? Not talking about like a back of the pack team, is a key partner with an OEM that foots half the bill. Right?
Yep. I agree.
The one thing that will be interesting is that good news for an engine shop like Yates, like an engine shop like ECR, for an engine shop like Hendrick Motorsports?
Yeah, I think they can find ways to use them still. I think at the end of the day, they can have and that will be part of the discussions. And I think they could have parts. Maybe they build a certain section of the motor, right? Maybe they get bought and just
like for
all
Ford,
under the wing of Ford
so
Performance
let's say
or
Ford
Ford
comes
Racing
up with a
now.
common platform for all their Ford racing engines, or a certain amount of their Ford racing engines. Like their F1 engine and their NASCAR engine is the same platform, starting platform. Yeah. But yet their F1 engines might be assembled by who builds their F1 engines?
Them. It's going to be, or them and Red Bull. Sorry, it's Red Bull.
So, okay. But then their NASCAR stuff might still be built by Yates,
Right.
right? But they're
Yeah.
using a common platform, common components.
100%. I just see that. And I
That
think,
makes
at
sense.
the end of the day, they'll run different motors in different series because they're trying to promote different things and the marketing is behind it. But I just think you will see if NASCAR opens up, it just continually allows more cross pollination across different series, right? And the like I look at Honda, right? They have that IndyCar engine that they run. It's a V6 turbo, right? You have the Acura engine they run in IMSA, which I can't remember what it is, but I'm pretty sure it's a V6 turbo. If they're joining NASCAR, wouldn't they want to run a V6 turbo?
Yeah. Well, that would be great. I can't wait to see that happen.
You're also forgetting Chevy could run a couple of different ones, especially with
Cadillac
F1
motor.
Yep,
right?
An F1 Cadillac motor.
Or the IMSA Cadillac motor, which is that is it still like the North Star or whatever motor? I can't remember the whole thing. But yeah, they could run that. They could do all sorts of different things. So
As a fan, this conversation excites the heck out of me. It
too.
actually brings a little bit of stock car racing back to the stock car auto racing. It's not just the outside of the car that looks like that. If you can have the motor that powers it also be sold on Monday with that car that it's dressed up as, that is a going back to the origins of NASCAR. That gets me excited. It makes me actually look forward to this 2035 season of NASCAR that Landon has mentioned.
It's gonna be earlier than that. But yeah, me too. I'm very excited. I think it's super cool. And I always wanted to see this be the case and where it all went. And so look forward to it. For the Xfinity series and the truck series, who knows what happens? They're in a tough spot right now with those series in terms of parts and pieces and where they go with the future of those trucks and cars for NASCAR. I don't know, what sort of trickle down will be there or I guess in a lot of respects they hope to kind of create some trickle down, but the cost for the teams would be immense. So we'll see where that all goes. But that's in the next couple of years will be a big topic for sure. And probably the next 2 years. Also a big topic would be Connor Zilisch. We talked about him a little bit earlier, but 9 wins on the season, maybe asterisk 8 because, I won one of them for him. But I'll be that small asterisk at the when he's won 7 Cup Series.
It does kind of hurt my
championships.
heart a little bit with just how smooth everybody says he has 9 wins.
I know.
Like as if Daytona was just another one of those, just another regular win.
Hey man, he won it. It's according to the rule book, he won it.
I know, isn't it?
So-
It's just funny though.
It is so weird. So weird. I see it like we were doing the broadcast the other night and they made a joke at me.
They're like
Jamie
9 wins,
Adam.
and you're like, well, but is it?
Is it?
I mean,
I'm
is it?
like,
I know
no.
it is, but is it? Is it 9
like,
wins?
like, what about that one at Daytona that that guy got the car? I'm proud to be a part of it. I think it's hilarious. But it doesn't take away from what he's doing and what that race team is doing.
No.
Absolutely insane. Their average finish in the last 12 or something races is 1.9. It's unbelievable. There's just nowhere they're not fast. He won the pole, set a new track record in doing that. And there was maybe a 5-lap portion where he probably wasn't the fastest car on the track, but once he got back to the front, no one could touch him. It's insane. Can you compare this to anything that jumps to your mind?
Oh man, no. I mean, just a generational run, and it's not like in terms of in a season.
Yeah.
So I don't know what is a good comparison in a season.
So people they kept bringing up Christopher Bell, who had 8 wins in his Xfinity season. I was like, man, the thing that sticks out to me though is I would feel like if I went and looked back at that time for Christopher Bell, I remember he had to do a lot of work to get fast at road courses. There was a lot of like stuff he had to learn and figure out. And what I think is astonishing here is just like we were saying on the broadcast the other day, and Jamie McMurray and I had this debate a little bit of just like there is no weakness. It's not like, oh well, he can win poles at a road course and maybe mile and a half, whatever. But it's like no, he wins poles at Martinsville, road courses, Gateway, wins at a track like Pocono, wins. I don't think won a pole at Rockingham with the tire going down. It's just like, what is happening here? The window of operation for him is just insane. And obviously the 88 team and Junior Motorsports are incredible right now. But it's just, I don't know. It's hard to put in context is what I'm getting at, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to throw out there. Why is it only compared to Xfinity? Why do we not look at trucks as well in high performing truck series? Because Corey Heim is doing almost an equivalently phenomenal job. Again, at asterisks, he shouldn't have 8 wins. He should have 7 wins because Parker
That's
won
funny.
Daytona.
Actually hilarious. I didn't think about that.
But like I sit down and I think to myself, like, Corey Heim is also doing the same thing in the truck series right now. But I feel like nobody's talking about it because it's like we just are disqualifying the truck series entirely.
Well, I'll be honest. That is probably because, the natural hierarchy of the series, right? You have to believe that the skill level and especially the team level is just not the same in the truck series as it is Xfinity, right? Xfinity teams have cup affiliations. Through most of your top 12 teams, you have, drivers who are either just about to go to Cup or have been in Cup, right? And Eric Almirola comes to mind. You have Cup drivers who drop down and do those races often, right? I think that's what makes it more of a topic because it's sort of the stepping stone to Cup, right? Trucks is a competitive race series for sure. And it's definitely what he's pulling off is impressive, but it's the third series, right? It's not what you consider to be the second tier series that's supposed to be the stepping stone to the Cup series from the team and driver side.
Yeah. I just was curious because I was like, we haven't really talked about Corey Heim and what he's doing. So I just was lobbing that out there as like, hey, he's also doing. Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, we talked about him a ton. Landon, we got to talk about some of the misses. It was the cutoff for the regular season in the Xfinity Series. Connor Zilisch is your regular season champion, but there is some notable misses that will not be in the playoffs. First and foremost, Kaulig completely shut out from the playoffs here in 2025. Christian Eckes finished third the other night. He looked like, if they could have got some late race cautions, he had the speed when it became nighttime and whatever, but probably some of the best speed they've had all year and one of the best complete races, but it wasn't enough. So they will not be in the playoffs. William Zilisch missed the Xfinity Series playoffs as a Joe Gibbs racing driver, which is almost unheard of. He was second place the other night at Gateway. He was probably, has been on a bit of a tear in the last month and a half. It's just he had such a bad start to the season and had some really hard, really tough races that he was so far out of it, it didn't matter on points. And, looked like I thought before the race he was going to win. And I said to our Racing Insights guys who were in the booth with us, I was like, hey, William Zilisch is going to win this race tonight. And I was one spot short. So damn. Jeb Burton, he made it clear he's the highest in points without a Cup affiliation as a team. And to give some context to that, he did have their team is rated the 18th fastest on speed in the series this year as they rolled into Gateway, sitting there right about 20 some odd points below the cut line, or 31 points below the cut line when we started the race at Gateway, end up crashing, never had the speed anyway to beat the 25, his cousin. But I said it on the broadcast multiple times, he will rue the day that was Talladega when he missed that win by inches to Austin Hill when the caution came out. He was right then and there, and I felt like when I saw that go down, that was his chance to make the playoffs, and it was gone. But it's been a hell of an effort by Jordan Anderson Racing. And then there's Ryan Sieg, a team that I think has been a major disappointment this year all around, and I think they would admit it as well, considering that they moved their operation to North Carolina from Georgia. He's been in the sim. They've been putting way more resources to try and go get his first win and to make the playoffs this year, and they did not get it done. So, anyone in there that sticks out to you?
No, that one was tough. I mean, that's for Sieg. I think where people probably don't appreciate maybe how tough that is for them, tough pill to swallow, is for so long, over a decade, that team has done it their own way, right? Where his dad's name was Rod, right?
Yep.
I think Rod, supporting the team, sort of laying the foundation for that team financially. They come up with their own sponsorship. They get it funded. They run into a budget. They've incrementally made gains year over year over year, right? And then the move from Georgia to North Carolina and all like that, this kind of move into this world of like, now we're a proper team, not like a team that's capable of manufacturer backing. That's not just a $100,000 a year investment, right? That's like a huge jump up. So for them to make that jump up and then probably on paper not actually look like it did much, because he's made the playoffs in the past, right?
Yeah.
So it's probably a gut punch, but I don't know. That's kind of still part of the sport and the incremental gains required. I mean, it's, that whole team probably had a huge chemistry change and everything over the course of the year that they're just going to have to build on.
Yeah, and I think I shouldn't have said making the playoffs because they've done that before. I think the big thing for them was to get that first win, right? And it just didn't happen. But he's been very close. He's shown the speed here and there for sure. And, I say it's a disappointment because, as you made it clear, they made that massive investment in this offseason and didn't quite get the reward yet. But there's still time to win a race. 7 races to go. We didn't really set any grids for the Xfinity Series. We did that last week for the Cup, or for the start of the Cup Series playoffs. We're not really prepared for that.
Well, we picked champions. I mean,
we did that back in what was that, last December?
Yeah, I think so.
I know who I picked, and it was really wrong.
Let's hear it.
Christian Eckes.
Ooh, that is tough.
Who did Landon pick? That's the question.
I don't remember.
Let's
Josh,
see.
you have to go look.
I'm looking right now. Oh, Landon has Allgaier.
Okay.
Which,
got a chance.
There's a chance. And I hate to break it to you guys. I called Zilisch. So I'm feeling pretty good going into this year.
Went on a limb. Landon is so impressed. He's texting someone right now.
Yeah, I know. I imagine he's texting Denny and all of his friends saying, "Can you believe this guy?"
Oh my gosh. Let's move to Formula One. They raced at Monza, as we said. Max Verstappen threw down an absolute heater in qualifying, the fastest lap in F1 history,
and then downplayed it.
Yeah, downplayed it. Plus, also watch that onboard video, and I tweeted this, and it got a lot of the Drive to Survive fans upset. But watch that onboard video, and then watch it, or even put it side by side with Montoya's lap in 2004 in the V10 era, and it looks like he's on a Sunday drive. I'm sorry,
it just looks slow.
It looks slow. There's not a single counter steer in the entirety of the lap. The way they have to drive these big, heavy behemoths that are, just are incredibly engineered is the right term. It just looks visually unsatisfying. And that lap, I know, was fast. And I was like, damn, that's impressive. But watch the Montoya lap, which was just a little bit behind this one. And you can't believe that they're only this little bit apart. And the thing that sticks out to me is just like, didn't even have to use all the racetrack in certain areas. In Ascari, he literally just doesn't even have to use the exit curb. Like, God damn it. Like this, so unsatisfying. But nonetheless, a super impressive lap. He won the race, which was, I think, unexpected for many out there, feeling like McLaren probably had this in the bag. I thought Ferrari could rise up at home. They did not for the Tifosi, but I did see some stuff about how, and heard this on the broadcast and such, that Max asked Red Bull for like a lower downforce setup than they were even wanting to run because he said he could drive it. And sure enough, he did. So that's pretty amazing and impressive. Yeah. I mean, he's insane. And look, that lap, like, I know what he probably makes it look smooth because he's so damn good. But also that's the way the car is supposed to be driven, and that's how you extract the most speed out of it. And that part to me is kind of lame. So
Yeah. And also his teammate was 13th.
I don't know if Yuki ran the same low downforce setup.
He did
think
not.
I heard he didn't. Yeah, he couldn't do it. So,
Wow.
God, could you imagine? I mean, I don't care how hard
That's
it is to
crazy.
drive. I'll spin out 6 times, but you give me the same damn thing if someone's going to run less downforce.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care. Like,
Yeah, when they
you
like
give me the
go
same
out in
damn thing.
P1 and it's like, yeah, Max wants to run a low downforce and he's a second half faster than you, I'd be like, all right, put it in.
Put it in. I don't care. Can't be any. I got to drive at least the same thing. I'll figure it
Well,
out.
the thing that's so gutsy about that though, and why those guys with even just a hair less confidence and execution than Max, why they end up running the downforce setup is because it's not just that it's harder to drive, right? It's that if you don't qualify on the pole with it, you're in for a bad day.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what probably, if Yuki Tsunoda, if they were considering that setup and were on the fence with it, that was the problem. Because it's just like, well, he can drive it, but maybe he's 0.3 slower than Max, or maybe he's a half second slower than Max. Well, if that puts you in the mix, right?
Yep.
If that puts you 3rd on the grid or 4th on the grid, and you're 4th on the grid with a low downforce setup, your first 2 laps of your race are in
Screwed.
jeopardy of DNF.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah,
and
good
that's
point.
so then that's how they end up going, well, if we can't actually start on the front row with it, then let's not run it at all. And then that's how you run 13th.
And Josh found out.
I'm not making an
There's some
argument
photo
for
here.
why I'm not trying to defend him for running 13th. I'm just trying to
I
rationalize.
mean, you
that
look at
thinking.
this rear wing that he's running, compare it to Max's rear wing. It's a parachute.
Yep. If we can see it visually, that's a big difference.
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
that
that's a
is
shame.
wild. That is
That's too bad.
it's unbelievable. Unbelievable how good the guy is. His level of, and you are so right, and that was so well said, because that's exactly what was going through their mind and why he probably thought, I want it too. And they're like, well, hey, bud, here's the problem. You're not going to race well. So Max is going to try and win the pole
don't
and
know what you
literally
want.
lead every lap. And if he stays in clean air like that, he'll be fine. If he gets swamped, he's screwed. Right.
Yeah.
So still kind of badass, I think, in a lot of respects for him to like see opportunities to do that. And that will have folklore now. Like in 10 years, people will talk about the time that Max Verstappen asked for less downforce than his teammate and anyone else, a setup that they didn't really want to run because he felt like he had the confidence that I could go win the pole and lead every lap and win the race.
It's crazy.
He even had the mental capacity to laugh at his competitors in McLaren when they basically Lando Norris, who was second, allowed Oscar Piastri to pit first so that they could prevent the undercut from Leclerc, and in doing so got to pit second, which was not the optimal strategy. But they also had a slow stop for Lando Norris, which then the team asked Oscar Piastri to let Lando Norris by. Max saw all this and laughed on the radio in the last few laps when he was given that information. And Oscar basically listened and let Lando Norris by. And
That's
I think
like the racing equivalent of monkeys doing something with a football.
Yep. Literally. Literally. It does open up the questions of, okay, so you basically are saying the bad pit stop stopped him from having the right position. So if it's the final race and they're fighting for the championship and this happens, what do you do?
Well, who's you? Define you.
The
Who are you
team.
talking to?
Do you even ask? Because if you're Oscar Piastri, there's no way you're pulling over in that case. Absolutely no
Right.
way. I don't, and he kind of chirped back on it, but then let it happen, right? Because I heard the broadcast went into it where basically he had said, I'll be a team player because I'm going to need them to do that for me at some point, which is smart. You know what? He's playing the long game. He's obviously a very intelligent guy.
I mean, I don't even know why you have to ask the question, because if it's the last race of the season and the driver has any inkling as to where they're at, that there's no chance in hell a driver who's in control of winning the world championship would do that.
Not a chance. Okay,
I would take a world championship and then you can fire me tomorrow.
I'll find a ride. 100%. I know.
London, we need you to pit. Please let Parker pass. He had slow stop and it's unfair.
Yeah, no, not doing that.
Landon, please swap with Parker. It was unfair. He had slow stop.
Yeah, can't hear you. No copy.
That's the greatest thing you've ever done on this show. That was so good. Where's that been all these years? Oh my God. That's getting clipped. That is so good. Well, oh my God. Anyway, I thought it was pretty funny though. Also, Max was asked afterwards if he would do that, and he said, absolutely not.
Now, in defense of McLaren,
Max is like, I wouldn't even do that in happy hour.
F off. I'm not even going to give my teammate a toe in qualifying.
I'm not even gonna give him a toe in qualifying.
in defense of McLaren and Lando only pit second because Oscar was under fire from Leclerc, and Lando suggested pitting Oscar first as long as he was guaranteed that he would be protected from the undercut from Oscar.
Yeah, I get that, but I mean, where do you draw the line?
It is silly. It is silly.
Gives him the wrong strategy one week. Is Oscar supposed to just let him by? Is it, like if Oscar is ahead of him in a race and I don't know, I'm trying to think of scenarios. It's just dumb.
It is F1 doing F1 things. I will admit it is entertaining to see even F1 people saying this is a bit ridiculous for team orders. So
yeah, it's
entertaining.
A little dumb. Well, it's the championship continues. What's our split now, Josh? What's our gap?
Let's see. I have this graphic that I found online somewhere.
Oh, cool. Shout out to the people that made the graphic.
Yeah, they're great people. Somewhere on Reddit, I'm sure. But these are the 6 drivers that are still technically in contention. So technically, I just looked back. We are all still in it to have our picks win the championship.
Hamilton is still mathematically in it.
Yep. His maximum points takeaway is 341 from this point forward. If he won every race and had fastest lap every single race, he could get up to 341. So he's technically still in it.
I see how this graphic works.
Yep. But 117, 324 is Piastri to Norris's 293. So, what is that?
If both McLaren started wrecking each other and Max started winning every race, he still could do it.
Yeah, he could get. Yeah.
Wow. Still alive. The dream is alive. Maybe he'll be.
Oh my God! What if?
I mean, the laugh that guy would have after this year and how slow his cars have been, and he still wins. They'll make a golden statue of him. They have to. He's incredible. Just an insane talent. What's the next race for F1?
Oh boy, that's a great question. I'm really glad you asked it. I'm just going to talk about the next race until it loads. Azerbaijan.
That's another one he could pull some crazy setup stuff.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. And the tires are always a topic there, trying to get them up to temp and everything. Well, let's choose our picks for this coming weekend. All we've got is Cup, Xfinity, and Truck. There is no F1. There is no IndyCar. You don't have to pick Herta again for IndyCar.
Bristol, baby.
Oh, wait. One more thing from F1. I saw Dan Towers on one of the F1 shows. He's the CEO of Gamebridge and the CEO of Andretti Global, which is going to be Cadillac F1 team. And he did confirm that Herta is looking to do F2. So that is happening.
Yeah.
Thought I put it out there. All right. Who you got? Cup, Xfinity, Truck, Bristol.
I
Bristol.
can't think of who I want to do for Cup. I don't know. I want to go with someone like Chris Buescher, but
Wow.
I don't. But like, he's not really playoff. Is he playoff?
No, he didn't make it.
Yeah, I feel like I want to pick a playoff driver. How about Chase Briscoe?
Wow.
Feeling
2 for
bold.
3. 2 for 3 in the first round.
Justin Allgaier, Xfinity. Parker, are you running the truck?
I am.
BK.
Appreciate it, buddy. Thank you. Cup, I'm going to do the same pick I had last week.
It's only because I didn't let you win the F1 World Championship. Even though our team asked us to.
I picked him last week. He had a really interesting move on Ryan Blaney that didn't work at all, but I still believe if we're gonna see anything out of this guy again, it's gonna happen here, considering his past in the last couple of weeks or weekends or races at this place where he's absolutely dominated. That is Kyle Larson in the 5 car.
God, he's so streaky, isn't he?
Yeah, I don't understand it. I don't get it, but it's got to turn around at some point. It's just got to.
Well, yeah, it always
Hendrick
does.
had speed.
It always does.
It does. It does. And I feel like he's probably frustrated at this point. So,
yeah,
I want to see. He saw Max Verstappen put down the fastest lap in F1 history. He's going to try and top his mark of leading like 470 laps the last summer race there, wherever it was, where he absolutely dominated. To
spring, he led 411.
And he led like over 450 in the spring or the summer race last year, right?
Jesus. Yeah.
It's insane. He's going to try and go for 500 laps this time. Xfinity, it's going to be Allgaier.
Wow. Darren, you guys are both picking Allgaier.
Yeah, I just think if he's going to stop this 88 train, this might be his best shot.
Mm-hmm.
Truck me.
Okay. There you go.
There you go.
Love that for you. Really, I love that. Truck or Cup. Man, dude, this one is like kind of a roll of the dice. Part of me is like, maybe Chase Elliott pulls one out of nowhere. He's like one of those kind of guys that you're sitting there, you don't think about him, and then suddenly he's just super quick. But I think you guys are probably pretty on the nail on your choices. So I'm gonna go with Larson as well. Xfinity. Are there any special people making an entrance? You know what? Because he's a friend of the show, Brendan Queen. I'm gonna go with Queen.
That's right. Butterbean.
Butterbean is making his debut at Bristol. We should talk to him. I don't know if he listens, but he should hop on at some point. Maybe you guys could text him. He'll get on right now. Get him on right before Kyle Busch gets on. And then
right
Truck, you're running?
Yep.
Okay. I'm gonna go with Heim.
Yep. Cool. Thanks.
All right. No worries.
Good move.
Jeez.
Wow. Brutal.
Well, I think you're gonna win it, but he's always whenever.
Yeah, whatever. You can't hide behind the pick. You've made the pick. It has been known. It is public now. We had no new Apple reviews, apparently.
Uh-oh. Forgot to do the section of the...
for the love of all that's holy. He didn't.
Oh, hey, we have an Apple review.
Oh!
You're just going to get it. Watch this. Watch this. Right on your page. There you go. It's uploading. There you go.
Hey, we did get a new one. Look at this. Alley Cat 2009. 5 stars, because that's the only thing that gets on this show, and it's the only thing we got. Diecast, Daytona wins, and the best host around. This podcast is a must listen for any racing fan. Parker and Landon do an awesome job breaking down the action, sharing behind the scenes insight, except for this episode where we don't even know what happened on it, and keeping it fun and exciting from start to finish. I became a Parker fan when he took the time to talk to us at Richmond a few years ago. He is truly a nice guy, and I've been a fan ever since. I just ordered the dual sign diecast from spoilerdiecast.com. Can't wait to add it to my collection. Also, huge congratulations to Parker for 2 Daytona wins. Thanks for the belief in that. Incredible accomplishment, and it's been a blast following along here. Keep up the amazing work. Thanks, Alley Cat. We appreciate you. That's all we got, apparently.
It's a good one.
Yeah, thought it was nice. There was some comments on YouTube that we shouted out earlier. I don't know. Did we have anything on Spotify that was interesting, Josh?
Nothing on Spotify. I'm going to throw this one. Wes Hurd on YouTube said, what would the ideal cost to rent a ride in the Money Lap Stock Car Series cost?
Oh, that's a great question. We were talking about our dream Money Lap series. You had your dream series. I had mine. 1,000 horsepower, big, heavy, off the ground things. What should it cost per race?
$500 a week.
Oh, that's a little lower than I was thinking.
I spent more doing the Nürburgring.
Here's what I would say. I think whatever it is, I would like to see, similar to what AJ Allmendinger was able to pull off in the Barber Dodge Pro Series in the early 2000s, where if you won the race, it paid enough to pay for the next race.
Oh, that's cool.
That's exactly how it was designed. Now, I would go one step further and try and design it that almost in the top 5, you could pay. It paid at least, fifth was like maybe a tick below break even. And if you were in third, you broke even and you made money second or first. That would be a badass series. If somehow you could figure out all the math and control the cost and all the BS we deal with all the time, that would be a good series. Especially, just no matter what the numbers are, if that was the case, you could justify the time. Your face is saying it's not possible.
I don't know. I don't know if I have the mental capacity to math this out right now.
We are way too far.
You completely blindsided me with inventing a racing series and the weekly cost of running it.
Well, we can ask our guest because he's finally here.
Kyle.
What he would do and what it would pay to win in our series that he's definitely going to race in. So excited to finally have Kyle Busch on the program.
Yeah, I forgot to book him as well.
You just said he was coming on. Thank you so much for watching and listening to the Money Lap. If you like this show, please like and subscribe to us on YouTube. Share it with friends. We want to spread the word of great motorsports shows, of which we're somewhere up and around there. I'm not exactly sure where, but nonetheless, you can also reach out to us anytime on across social media or at our website, themoneylap.com, or at our email, friends@themoneylap.com. And of course, you can always leave us a review. 5 stars gets you on this very show. Thank you so much for listening and watching. Goodbye.